Welcome to Clone Questions Live, episode 28, with me, Paul, your clone coach. I help cultivators make the best clones ever. If you want to find out more, go to clonecoach.com. We are live every Friday on Instagram, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. If you want to join the chat, if you want to ask your questions live, if you want to request to join the live as a video and have a little quick conversation with me, you could do that as well. You got to follow me on Instagram. For all those on Instagram joining right now, welcome to everybody. Let me know where you're joining in from. If you're joining here in the chat on Instagram, we're live on Clone Questions Live, episode 28. Got a few things to touch on at the beginning of this episode before we get into the questions and everything else, but I want to welcome everybody here on the chat. If you got something to roll up to burn with Coach, go ahead and get that ready too. But yeah, guys, a couple updates from clonecoach.com. You'll notice the site has been slimmed down a bit. There's been removal. I've been removing, any hint of anything that could cause me any trouble, specifically with credit card processors, because I've been down all month. Once again, in the month of July, 90% of the month July, I did not have a credit card processor, been in between banks. Finally got approved again with the new bank yesterday, but there's conditions attached. You got to remove every hint, notion, phrase, word, photo of anything that they don't like. So you'll notice the website's a bit more streamlined in that sense. The reviews are still up, but the photos and videos from the reviews are not publicly posted anymore. If you want access to those, I could get that for you, but it's just a bit more of a process. So, yeah, but clonecoach.com is back up and running. The Best Clones Ever SOP is getting bundled up with the Best Mother Plants Ever SOP, along with the resources page, another coaching video, a lot more value bundled up into one package. Because I noticed, the biggest thing with clones is your starts with the mother plants, and I was noticing that everybody was grabbing the mother plant SOP, but it all starts there. So I figured it has to be packaged as one. So that is packaged up now on clonecoach.com. You get the free copy of a Best Mother Plants Ever SOP when you purchase a clone guide. So check that out. Let me see here. If you guys, anybody in the chat, if you guys got any questions about cloning, mother plants, nursery operations, anything like that, feel free to throw that into the chat. I may have messed up a bit because I didn't put Clone Questions Live as my title. And maybe that's why we're getting a little delay there. Let's see, we do have a request to join. Usually takes a second or two. Looks like we got Israel trying to join the chat here on Clone Questions Live. We'll see if that gets connected. There it is. Israel, how are you?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Not too much, man. Happy Friday.
Hey, the same to you. My first time coming on live, and I got a lot of plans to clone. I want to start cloning my own.
Okay.
And I started with hit or miss there, but I think I'm missing on the juice part. I got the humidity going, but I think the juice part is how much nutrients from the start should I use.
So how many clones are you making? Just so I kind of get a picture of what you got ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm trying to be able to fulfill 500 at a time.
Okay. Perfect.
And that's a lot. How many? I'm trying to figure out how many mothers do I need to be able to fulfill that lump sum.
Yeah, definitely. Side note, all that is answered. All those solutions, all those tips and tricks is what I have bundled up in my Best Clones Ever guide on my website. So if you're going to be knocking out batches of 500 clones at a time, and you're going to have mother stock that you're going to need to keep in production, and you want that predictable results and have all those answers as far as recipe goes, do yourself a favor, check it out on clonecoach.com. But to answer the question as far as the juice, the nutrients for the clones, the simple answer to get predictable results from where your mother plants were, if your mother plants are nice and healthy, right?
Yeah.
Feed the clones the exact same food as the mother plants. Exactly the same. Some people freak out, hey, that's too high of an EC. You know, these are babies. We gotta reduce the food drastically, all this stuff. Trust me. What this allows to happen is your clones are already used to that strength of nutrients on your mother plants. So once they develop a root zone in the rooting process, if they're being fed the exact same thing, there really should be no reason for them to suffer any dip in nutrient health. And no yellowing, no purple, no stunted growth. It should be predictable growth just like it was on the mother plants. It shouldn't dip. And that's how we eliminate the dip that most people experience around day 9. That yellowing kicking in, those leaves falling out, like that's usually what happens. So that's how we address that.
Okay, that makes sense because when I actually feed them less.
Mm-hmm.
The nutrient levels is far less. I mean, really low.
How low? What are we talking? From what to what?
I'm talking about 0.5 EC.
And where are the mother plants at?
3.0.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that didn't hit me until you were explaining that to me. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely makes sense. And then I try to use all kinds of other products, to try to the nutrients, like what's those other? I can't remember, but high in nitrogen to rapid growth,
rapid start.
Yes.
From General Hydro, that like real concentrated liquid, like 0.5 ml per gallon, 1 ml per gallon product.
Yes. I try to use that, but I didn't see any results in that area. I did notice when I checked my EC levels, they were really high, like they were like above 4.0. And I used water, RO, to reduce it, but I realized that also was reducing the nutrients on the other end, diluting the nutrients. So that didn't work out for me. But I think if I stick to the same program with what the mother are being fed initially, when I cut, and then do with the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, that's
now, is it what about CO2? CO2 on clone?
Not necessary to supplement CO2 on your clone stock, because there's very low amounts of light and low amount of like photosynthesis like happening, so it doesn't have a big draw on the need for extra CO2. That's more so than what's already in the ambient air.
Okay.
Once they kick off in veg and you have more intense lighting, more intense, food, temperatures, all of that, and you have a plant that's growing vigorously, 100%, you will benefit from the aid of supplementing CO2. But at the clone level, especially in the domes and stuff like that, no. Once they get past day 14, and I consider that back into veg, period, then I treat veg all the same: supplemental lighting, supplemental CO2, intense lighting, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I try to subscribe to your website, but it wouldn't go through. Something was happening.
When
I had to confirm to the Gmail, and it wouldn't go through.
When were you trying this? Was it recently?
Yes.
Are you saying subscribe like the email subscribing that I have on there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up. I'll look into it to see what's going on. Because it should be active. I was messing with it this past week to add this free consult that I have that I'm offering now. So that was part of the subscription of the email subscription. So um, thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna look into it and make sure there's nothing going on my end. Um, but yeah, that email subscription will get you a free consult with me. We could go over all the details of your garden, your nursery, what problems you're going over with, and see how we could help and how the SOPs could really help you and address what you have going on. Like you said, the questions about how many mothers, how much square footage of mother stock do I need to dedicate for my clone production? All those little nuances is what I have packaged up already. Um, but yeah, dude, let me look into it. I appreciate the heads up. Sometimes there's technical difficulties, and just gotta try to fix them.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time, and I'll let someone else chat in.
I appreciate you, Israel, man. Safe driving. Keep your eyes on the road and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You got it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. How cool is that? Yeah, I love when people join in on the chat. Request to join in live. Had a quick question pop in here. Valley Plug says, when taking outdoor cuts, do you recommend rock wool or plugs? I don't know what plugs you're referring to, but if it's where the plant comes from doesn't really have an effect on what plugs you choose to use. But I would say like a cocoa peat based plug is what I would do for outdoor plants, because more than likely they're in cocoa or soil. They're not in rock wool. So keep it the same as much as you can, the uniformity as much as possible. Yeah, and on that note, as in that request to join with Israel, let me get this going here on clonecoach.com. If you want a free consult with me, a free phone call consult to go over your nursery and any issues that you have going on, any concerns, anywhere you want to improve upon in your nursery, go to clonecoach.com and subscribe, the email subscription, and you'll get followed up with an email so that you could book a time to hop on the phone with me after you fill out a little questionnaire, and we could go over that questionnaire together on the phone for free as a free consult to see what's going on in your nursery and see how we could improve upon it together, and see if the best clones ever and best mother plants ever guides will be perfect for you. So check that out. Subscribe on clonecoach.com, and you'll get an email to book your free coaching call with me. So anybody on the fence out there, take advantage of a free nursery assessment. Essentially, you're going to tell me about your nursery, where your concerns are, where you want to improve upon, and we're going to review it together and assess the situation and see how we could improve your nursery operation. Really unlock the full potential of your nursery operation. Let's see here. I got a couple more announcements too, so everybody listening here, got a couple exciting announcements. We covered the website updates. We covered the free consult as well when you subscribe with your email. And next week, this Monday, I'm going to go to Vegas for the week with Zach from BioSafe Systems to go tour a bunch of grows out there in Vegas, a bunch of commercial big grows. I'm going to try to get as much content as possible. We're going to check out their spots, see if there's anything we could do to help. If not, just be thankful and humble that they're opening their doors to us and allowing us to do a little tour and ideally capture some content for everybody out there. So next week, Clone Coach will be in Vegas with Zach from BioSafe Systems, touring some facilities and gathering some content. So it's going to be fun. Let's see here. Last announcement is next week. I'll be, no, not next week. In 2 weeks, in about 2 weeks, I'll be filming my episode with First Smoke of the Day. I was invited to join their podcast as a guest. We're going to do something very unique, something very different that hasn't been done before for the episode on First Smoke of the Day. But your boy Clone Coach is going to go to First Smoke of the Day and film an episode with them a couple weeks from now. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited. It's going to be really cool. We're going to put our best foot forward, and it's not going to be the traditional interview. I'll say that much. It's not going to be the traditional interview. Let's see here. Get Farmed says, Clone Coach, currently have nursery under attestation by Health Canada. Anything you'd recommend that's not laid out in your SOPs? I don't know what rules Health Canada is having you, go by and what you need to address. So, Get Farmed, if you mind elaborating. If you mind elaborating on what's going on, see if there's anything we can do to help. Get Farmed, if you're still on here, let me see. Yeah, you are. Let's see here. Yeah, Get Farmed, if you want to elaborate a bit more. Get Farmed says, I couldn't fit the whole question in the text box. If you want to join the live, shoot a request. We could join the live and just have a quick conversation. I think it might be easier to get your point across there. And we could have a little discussion about what's missing or what you'd like to address, if possible. In the meantime, we're going to hit on, I guess, the importance of maximizing your clones per square foot and maximizing your clone production in your nursery. So when building up new mother stock, I like to have a manageable size mother, probably less than 4 feet tall from bottom to top. Something that you Get Farmed. Yeah, man, take your time. I'll kill some time in the meantime and join as soon as you can. Appreciate it. I like having manageable mothers sizes, because some people have these mother plants that are giant trees, and they're 6+ feet tall and 4 or 5 feet wide and big, beautiful plants. And you're like, wow, it's amazing to see. It's really cool to see. But is it feasible? Is it feasible for most every staff member to be able to, manage that plant, pick up that plant, take that plant down from the table, to clone from it, to manage that canopy, to get your foliar sprays in there really good, the defoliation involved in a really big mother plant, the age. And then when you go to reset that mother plant, you have a huge dip in production, because you go from having plants that are huge to starting your new plants, unless you're growing out your next set for a long period of time to get them to that size, so you really don't suffer any dip in production. So I prefer smaller, more manageable plants that are rotated more frequently, but you're still maximizing the canopy, the tops in the canopy, so that you maximize your clones per square foot. Still, you don't need giant mother plants. You can have a bunch of smaller yet purposefully pruned mother plants that are giving you as many tops as possible, so your canopy is nice and consistent and uniform, and your clone harvesting is nice and easy, and you're able to really have predictable production out of your square footage there. So, I mean, some people have big mother plants and they love it, and they have one plant per light or something, and it's not for me. It really isn't. I like to be able to, turn mothers over, keep them in small, like a 3-gallon pot, 2-3 gallon pot. So, bare stem on the bottom, so you kind of grab the trunk and bring it down to the floor or table or whatever, move it around. But it allows most anybody on the staff to handle these plants, harvest clones from them, maintain them, prune them, and put them right back on the tables to veg out for another 2 weeks before you take the next set of clones. So that's my preference, and that's what I go over in my best mother plants ever guide is that type of technique. Because like I said, I don't need giant mothers to hit my production numbers, and quite honestly, with the bigger the mother plants, the more inconsistencies there are within the canopy, so that your clones are not going to be as uniform. They're just not. I mean, the shape of the mother plant, you got a high, you got a low, you got a side branch, you got the secondary like inners and thinner stems and stuff. So you're never going to get as uniform of like a clone harvest, in my opinion, as you would with just like smaller mother plants that are just pruned and topped right and just grown out as one hedge. I like considering the table just one solid hedge. A little overlap from your 4x8s or from whatever your table measurements are, a little overlap there, but just a solid canopy. Whether that's one plant per square foot or nine, or I'm sorry, like half of that, right? So treat the table, the mother plant canopy as one, and not just like big chunks of like big mother plants. For me, it's just you maximize your clones per square foot. Really, you're looking at every square foot and filling in as much even uniform canopy growth in there as you can. Everybody in here, there's only a few of us in here. Let us know where you're joining in from, where you're calling her in from. We got Get Farmed in Canada. He's going to be joining shortly. We're going to talk about something going on in his nursery out there in Canada. For all those that are watching that haven't joined the team, if you're making at least 500 clones at a time, do yourself a favor, go to clonecoach.com. If you're just not quite there yet, you're doing one or two trays sporadically, then do yourself a favor and benefit from all the free content. Just devour all the free content. There's lots of value provided in there. But if you're counting on your clones, if you're relying on them to fill a flower room or to provide them to others, you need to be wise and invest in yourself and invest in knowledge that's going to provide you the best, most uniform clones possible. I remember what kept me on the track of producing clones was when I started making trays, and I would take them to provide them to a garden. I'd take them to somebody. I'd be nervous as hell, right? Taking literal me first getting going. I got my tray of clones, trying to provide them others. Just so worried about what they're going to think of what I'm providing to them. But so often, when they would open the box and just look at the clones, open a box of clones, look at the canopy and everything, they would just say, "Wow." There was always literally a wow factor. Literally them just wow. Just looking at these like, holy crap. Then they take them out, and then it's even more so. Wow, look at this. Look at calling people from the back. Check these out. Look at how beautiful these things are. That's what started happening more and more and more. And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, this is the path. This is the path for me. Stick with the clones. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting these reactions. And, those were during the medical days. And, it was fantastic days. But, now things are different. And, you always got to kind of pivot and, adjust as needed. Shift your priorities and shift your outlook on things. And now I'm able to help people get that kind of reaction out of their clients all over the place, all over the world, literally. And that is like such a blessing, Got to get that wow factor. If your clones aren't getting you a wow factor when you provide them to your customers, your clients, or your garden, then you don't have to stay in that area. You could improve, and the solution's out there for you. Hi again. If you want to talk cannabis content, which I think it's a really thorough topic that needs to be talked about. Hi again. We should chat cannabis content. If you want to join now and talk a little cannabis content, that'd be fantastic. Because I've been on Instagram for years. 2015, 2016, got on Instagram, and Instagram is how I moved all my clones. I met all my clients, my medical patients, did drops, all that stuff was on Instagram. But never did you post your face. You never posted your face, who you were. It was just pictures of the plants, right? But it worked, and Instagram was fantastic for that, but it was a different way to, view the content. It wasn't viewed as how things are now for me personally with Clone Coach and stuff. Before, it was Neighborhood Nursery was a brand I was operating under, and we're just providing clones to collectives and medical patients and gardens and stuff. So, but I remember there was a switch that probably about a year ago now. Yeah, just about a year ago now. I've wanted to help other nurseries with consulting, some sort of form of consulting, something like that, for a while. Hold on, let me Instagram story. I see you there, Get Farmed. Let me just wrap this one up before I forget. But about a year ago, I started showing my face while I made content, and that is where the trajectory shifted big time. And when I just started providing direct content and giving out tips and tricks and tangible information, big difference. And that's, Clone Coach kind of became the be. So if anybody out there wants to chat creating content and growing content, you just let me know. Get Farmed, I'm accepting you, buddy. 1 second there. Hello. I gotcha. How are you?
Thanks for having me on, dude.
My pleasure, man. This platform is as much mine as it is everybody out there.
Hey, this is pretty cool. Hey, so yeah, sorry for the vagueness of the question, but I tried a few times writing it out, and it just wouldn't fit in that text box.
And you were driving too, man. So it's like, I hear you.
Voice to text. They're allegedly driving. So basically, the attestation through Health Canada, which, it's just, it's being, going for approval. In my case, though, it's a little bit smaller of a nursery, and, I'm only going to have about 3 by 26-foot tables, 2 of those running down the sides of like it's almost kind of like a outfitted storage container, 53 feet long.
Yeah.
Right, but I had to break that up into, shipping and receiving area, a downing area, entrance, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Clone room. So I think the whole thing's like 73 feet long. And there's contracts waiting for it. So it's more of a, let's get this guy licensed. Let's see if, he can do this. Let's get these clones out there. And, if it works, great. There's already another property for expansion and whatnot.
Love it.
But basically, yeah.
Congratulations, man. I love hearing that, man. That's exciting as hell.
It really is. It's very exciting because this is like the dream, right? Like this is what, you hope for. And you realize when you're going through it, though, how much of a chance you didn't have if you didn't have the funds, to try and start one of these things. Like it is.
Yep.
It's wild, But you were just talking about your mother plants and keeping them, all uniform and everything like that. My space is very limited.
Right.
Right. So I have, about 9 or 10 cultivars that are, I would say are commercial level in terms of quality and production and,
Okay.
the COAs that they provided. Can't remember the exact number. I don't have the workout on me, but I'm pretty much following everything that you laid out in your SOPs, plants per square foot.
Mm-hmm.
So the moms are going to be in the 3-gallon container, but there's only going to be 2 on either side, and then running all the way down that 3-foot wide table.
Right. You got 1.5 plant, one plant per 1.5 square feet or whatever. So that's 2 plants across that 3.
Exactly. Now, since I only have 2 of those, right? Like, I've been like, I don't know the right way to go about this in terms of like keeping the other strains or the other cultivars around and running 1 table for production moms, or like running 2 tables for production moms.
So
all 1 strain.
So you got what kind of lights up on your setup here for your mother plants?
Okay, so I went with the HLG 350R.
Okay.
LEDs.
You got like 5 of them across or 6 across?
5 or 6, yeah. I think I got 12. I ordered 12. So yeah, 6 across either side. They've got a 5x5 coverage for veg, but I mean I just need the 3.
Right.
Foot. They're so it keeps the HVAC, from being worked. I did want to do metal halides, but I don't know if they're doing it down there, but up here they're kind of phasing that stuff out.
Yeah, LED is sounds nice, and it is nice, and there's benefits to it, so for sure. I mean, it was just less so that it was more so trying to figure out your ratio of production for your genetic split. So when I ran my nurseries, when it came to strain selection and the menu selection, it was usually 50 to 70% was that high production, low strain quantity, but high production per strain, dedicated to those few strains. Yeah. Then you have like an exotic, right? A higher price, low volume. So not everybody and their mother's growing it. It's selective. It's exotic. And then you got the new rotating, the testers. You're either breeding, bringing in genetics, having that like last piece of rotation that either is going to move forward into the exotic branch or into the high production section. So that's how I generally thought about it, when it came to providing clones to clients, because you got to think about your client. What are they going to grow? If a lot of clients really need 100 lights or hundreds of lights of a particular strain, or 2 or 3 strains, no more than 4 strains, they really need 1,000 of them. They really need bunches of them, right? And you got to be able to hit those numbers. So I would say if you have 2 rows of 5 lights, that's, you got to pick like maximum 4 strains, I'd say, and that's 1 shipping container, and your next shipping container, the next row is the exotics. And then that last one's overflow exotics, or that, that overflow and that rotating, or you got something good in rotation. Cool. You stack it up there, you get more production out of it. So less strains, but you really could provide the bulk quantity in a uniform, fashion and a consistent basis. They'll hit you up every time they need 1,000 clones.
Absolutely. And like in my case, I'm pretty fortunate because contracts are already waiting. So there's contracts there for. And
that covers the strain selection in the contract, or where does that leave the?
No, so it doesn't. So I'll share the way it works. I'll share the little.
Because I've done clone purchase contracts too when I was brokering and selling, for other nurseries. So like that's where like they're either providing a genetic, or they're allowing you to select a genetic with certain characteristics, but you have certain outs if you don't have it in production.
Yeah.
So
basically it's pretty much that. It's that they're trusting me that the strains I'm bringing in, because I don't know if it's like that down here, but here when you get licensed, usually they give you your license at 4:30 p.m. on a Friday in Canada. That's where it seems what Health Canada does. But you have until 11:59 that night to bring in whatever you want. Where Health Canada turns a blind eye: seeds, nuts, whatever.
And then after that, it's like not you're going through either licensed producers or another licensed nursery to get
Interesting.
Genetics in. Yeah, and so basically these contracts that are waiting, it's anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 clones a month, and the licenses that these LPs have are called an EU GMP, so they're actually licensed to ship out their product overseas. So going to Holland, Germany, Australia, and Israel. And because that's where the market here has dived quite a bit, but if you can get that international license, you're still paying $6 to $10 a gram for the product. So my clones will be sent to these LPs that they'll flower, and they're sending that product overseas, right? So they're kind of trusting me to give them the right cultivar that's going to produce the most and is
You have it. I mean, so many things are going through my mind. I mean, the fact that you're able to, do export because your federal government's with it. Ours is not. We can't even go across a state line and we'll get a bank account. I had my credit card processing just for selling the SOPs get shut down. Like, it's bullshit backwards. But you're in a lucky spot as a nursery provider with the ability to select your genetic for your client for an export market, because the threshold's a lot lower, right? Your threshold for them is really something that's easy to grow, resistant, resilient, and yields. And doesn't need to be the exotic top terp. You gotta make them look good. You make them look good and help them hit their numbers that they put on paper in their spreadsheet. You do that by you just say, put your fucking faith in me. You'll buy every single clone from me. You make them look good. Done. You're fucking so solid. So solid.
That's what I'm hoping for. And if I just gotta pump out, a couple dozen thousand of wholesale clones to get, my backer paid back, and then after that, I become the majority owner once they're paid back. I'm ready to move because it needs to expand. Right now, its size is very limited. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just keep one of each of the other strains, because I do have a few that, I'm like, right away I can put these as production moms, and then save those for the next, the next venture. Because, I mean, like, I only have the room, I can fit 6 racks in there, so like 4-foot long racks, but they're going to have 6 shelves, so what is that?
24 levels?
2,400 clones per shelf, or per rack, and there's 6 racks.
Gotcha.
If I throw in that whole Rockwell slab right into a tray and not use a riser or anything like that, then I'm doing 98 clones a tray.
Be careful.
Be
careful.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they wanted potential numbers, and I'm like, well, if you want potential numbers, here you go.
Yeah, but you're like where you increase the quantity of of stored plants or rooting plants, you're decreasing quality, you're decreasing success rate, you're increasing pathogens. Like, it's a ratio of everything. Exactly. Right? Quality control is a pain in the ass to like sort your orders and like make sure every single clone is good before it heads out the door. It's a lot. You increase your labor there, And
I'm the only person, who's going to start off working in there. Like,
so how many do you need to produce a week or at a time?
There's 5,000, so 5,000 minimum a month, and then up to 10,000 if I can do it.
Oh, brother, we could fucking do it, dude. 5,000 minimum a month. 5,000 minimum a month is cake. I mean, with the mother plant, you got the clone and mother plant SOP, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So yeah, like in there, we could hit, depends on the genetic, from 12 to 18 clones per square foot. Call it like 15 clones per square foot. Every 2 weeks.
You think it's a little? Are you being conservative on that?
Always.
Okay.
Have I hit more?
I was gonna say,
yes, yeah. And on that note too, that's just considering all A grade uniform tops. That's no Bs, that's no secondaries. There's no cheater cuts in that number. So that's conservative, and that's like a hard line in quality of A's only. I mean, a trick I used to do, which like I would turn my trash into cash is when I would clean up my clone. You know, on some strains or some growth, your side nodes that you're cleaning off are an inch or two, couple inches, right? You know, like they're long enough to be like a couple inches. I would plug those, and I'd sell them either as shorties for half the price because they're half the size or a fraction of the size, or if they didn't sell, they grow up to a normal clone size, and they get clone prices, or I just have more stock out of that canopy. Like if you just have a little bit of patience and want to add a couple weeks of growth, you could substantially just harvest more cuttings from your square footage in a few little tricky ways like that.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, it's as it draws nearer, and you're starting to see like this construction get put together, the HVAC getting tied in, the electrical running. It's all very exciting, but I'm starting to feel the pressure from the ones with the funds, right? And it's
I hear
like you could do 20,000. Could you do 20,000 a month? Do you think? And it's
yeah.
I'll do 50,000 a month, but like give me the room and the right materials and equipment to do what I need to do. Let's not
Brother.
We started off with 2 C-cans put together, and we it's down to 1. So like I don't want that to become a pattern. You know what I mean?
I didn't catch your name, man.
It's AJ.
AJ. Dude, you're like bringing back so many memories of how I learned how to talk to people with money, and what you can't tell them too much, man. You know, because along with just theoretically producing more clones, just a quantity, like they don't see the increase in labor, the equipment costs, and then the marketing and logistics and selling of those clones, getting those clone contracts. That's an account manager, that's selling, that's a marketing department. Like there's funds and budget there. Your team expands. Like it's not just make more and so it just reminds me, just like, oh, you can make more. It's like, dude, we can, but
yeah, exactly.
You got to give me the other things I need to grow,
And the great thing about this is that for their equity that they have, all that's taken care of. So basically, there's a bunch of paperwork that I do, in terms of quality control, just recording everything and all like that. But then there's the other part, the desk job part, where they're going to make sure that this operates properly through Health Canada as the nursery. They're going to cover the marketing. They're going to cover, if they're providing the contracts. That's part of their, their responsibilities.
Nice.
Right. So it's right now it's pretty set up to like, it should all just work out. Right. But even then, it's like you get these little curveballs here and there.
Of course.
Yep. And basically, they're like, it's your baby. You're running it. Like, don't get mad at us when we're on the golf course in 3 months and you're, in there doing the work. But I mean, like, it's been 3 years that I've been, I won't swear on here, but it's like, it's been 3 years of just,
Speak freely, my friend. Speak freely. When this is a subject, matter, and you're really putting it out there, like what it's really like to be in that role and take on that responsibility, but also the opportunity is what it is. Your opportunity to work your way through that little dip of the investment and become sole owner. That opportunity is what this sacrifice is for, and why why you could feel it so much.
Yeah, man, and it's like, and it's just, I hope this is the one that's going to work out. Because it's like, man, you get your shit packed in for a few years, right? And it's, I don't want to say it's never not been my fault, but like, I'll tell you what, I've never not followed through with what I was supposed to bring to the table. And then it's been, you're new to the cannabis industry. I like sunk everything. I changed my whole life around, sunk everything into it just because I loved it. But it was an expensive learning experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the money I spent. Oh, it's been wild. And everybody has, right? Everybody wants to learn and screws up and wants to do better the next day. Has spent money on this, but this is like, oh man, the stories, dude, for the last 3 years. It's like a movie, And I just really want to hit this out of the park, and I have my own experience, but to be kind of given like the reins, be like, here you go, man. Like, you know, I built it, I said it, you know, I did the floor plan, everything that, you know, I made the list, they approved it, it's coming in. So I was, you know, I don't know if you remember, I tried to book a couple appointments with you for that half-hour consultation, and I think I booked the wrong kind of appointment. But either way, I'd love to just like, we can even do it on here. I think it'd be kind of cool, but to give like a little walkthrough of what it is and what it looks like and what it's going to, you know, because I plan on posting the whole, like, you know, what it's like starting a nursery. Nursery,
you know, just that phrase there, you know, is a story I'd like to capture, you know, and you know, 100%, you know, rebook the Calendly.com link, get your call booked in there. We'll get it squared away. But yeah, dude, we could 100% do a walkthrough, you know, fucking, you know, podcast, is tell the story, man, because the closest that I got in California with the cost of trying to go at this, you needed a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of ability to burn that money. But the closest I got was when the first year that the rec market came into play, 2018, I joined a licensed facility as a grower, was their first employee, you know, fucking built the 500 light facility, you know, hanging lights, hanging equipment, tables, built flower rooms, everything, fucking all the fuck ups from you know, first time setup, first time grow, bad consultants, everything that could go wrong went wrong. But they had a spare bedroom, and I convinced them to allow me to design, to equip, to bid a low budget, and make that a one room nursery and bring clones to the market. Like, I had them pursue and grab a nursery license. They got the nursery license, and they're just like, here you go. Here's a spare room. We got the nursery license. Let's see what you could do. And fucking, that was like the end of like September, October or something. Got our first plants in, grew those clones out to moms. Sold my first licensed clones around my birthday that same year. You know, like just, but it was never mine. You know, I fought just to even get my commissions, and you know, it was, they tell you to treat it like it's yours, but it's, in my case, it was never mine. You know, but that was my little taste of it, you know, because I do have the desire, you know, before Clone Coach, it was neighborhood nursery, you know, because I wanted to have a nursery in the name. It was like the whole, you know, fucking idea like that. But, you know, so to hear the story and like specifically nursery, it's not a common story. There's not a lot of people out there pursuing nursery and endeavors and ventures. So AJ, like you're the story I want to tell, man, you know?
Wicked. That's really nice. That's really good to hear, man. Because you know, it's I came, you know, the nursery wasn't a thing. I came out actually to where I live now for a job at a brand new LP, brand new, dude, like state of the art, like liquid cooled magnetic LEDs. Just, you know, $20 million facility.
Nice.
And I was there for 8.5 months, bro. And we didn't fill a single room. You know, and it's just it's like, you know, staff, massive facility, looks like a rocket ship, and you know, because of the politics and because, you know, one person who I guess you could say is you know, one incompetent person met an incompetent person with a lot of money, and then the guy with a lot of money, you know, entrusted the other guy to, you know, build this thing and run it, and then just when it came time to actually do the business part of it, our owner didn't want to fork out $15,000 to get 1,000 clones.
Right. Then they started pinching pennies and analyzing every dollar and like questioning everything.
It's like the thing is like, you know, I'm not criticizing those with the money but this guy, it's like, it wasn't like he ran out of money. He just, oh, it's not making money. Like, and then it doesn't understand. We don't have any plants, bro. And it was just so stupid. It was so dumb. And then it became kind of like very disconcerting going in, you know, every day. Yeah,
because it's like, if you can't get that concept, like, how do you even talk to that person? How do you ration with them? Like, how do you know?
Man, I just, the stories that, like, it was a gong show. But out of it, you know, I threw up a trailer on the other. They had 196 acres, and I threw up a trailer on the other side of the property, right? So now, like, not only like am I the first one there and the last one to leave, but if anything happened, it's who are they going to call?
Right.
This guy. And I was more than
on
happy
call
to do that.
24/7.
Yeah, why not? Because it's like I wanted these guys to try. I wanted to be a major part of this, and it's you work so hard to just bang your head against the wall, and but luckily, which is what I've been hoping for all these years, that somebody sees that, who that's somebody who is a somebody, and they invite you over for a meeting. They ask you about hypothetically, maybe you're doing gray market clones before, and then they find out that you've been shipping them and you got to places and everything, so they invite you to bring your plants there, and then you ask for, if they know someone who's cannabis friendly has a cheap room for rent, because I didn't want to wreck his place. But, he gave me bring your plants here, and it was a nice spot.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the money at the time to outfit it right, so it's like I didn't want to ruin anything. And the longer I'm here, the more I'm going to ruin stuff. So he's like, oh, why don't we build a building? And then that, next thing I know is he cans are coming, and then just, let's get that nursery license. So like, without even asking, or talking about it with him, that offer came up, and it's like, it's a dream.
It happened organically.
Phones, I didn't know people were searching them out. And a friend had to tell me, like, oh, people buy these. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, like $10, $15, you can, send these off. And it's like, really? And then it's like, why isn't there a spot for people to get these, especially people with the medical licenses to grow?
Right.
Here, you can get a license in 30 minutes to get 473 indoor plants to grow, personally. And you can stack 4 of those licenses on a property. So,
but see, like, do they? That's not like they don't like consider the clones and propagation and stuff, right, in the plant count.
They do actually. They do here. Our rec, we can't have more than 4 plants per recreational.
Got it.
Like when you are, like I just actually learned the hard way. Doesn't matter if they're clones or they're plants, or if it's hemp or not hemp, if it's that less than 0.03% THC inside, they don't care. You're going to get a distribution charge if you have more than 4 plants on you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, I ran into that problem just last month, actually.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I had 12 plants in my car. I got pulled over. It's 11 o'clock at night. And cop looks inside with his flashlight. I never said that they were cannabis plants. He never asked me, but he got hit with a distribution charge, which puts me at risk of losing my security clearance, which allows me to be in any licensed facility by myself.
Right.
Right? And then if that charge sticks, Health Canada is not going to approve me for the license of the nursery. So I had to lawyer up.
Yeah.
And it's been a month now. I had my first appearance. No pleas or anything yet. My lawyer still needs discovery, but like, man, you're a month away from like your dream happening, and then the one time, cops pull you over. I had a reasonable number of plants, but they still gave me the ticket, and they gave me 4 back. So it's like, I was 8 over my limit, technically, and now it runs the risk of just ruining everything.
AJ, if this doesn't work out, man, you could write movie scripts. Just tell your story.
Because you're not the first person to say that.
Here and now, that's the hurdles and shit you got to go through, and like the issues and the struggles. But then how like PW Farmer says right here, best of luck to you, AJ. With Clone Coach in your corner, you're gonna crush it. That's where the guide comes in. The guide, you're the hero. I'm just the guide. So when you're in that, operation of the nursery, we're maximizing it. We're crushing it. I'm in your corner, just helping you achieve that fucking goal and put all this shit into pass and move forward with it, man.
Yeah. I can't wait to look back and just laugh on this, at this time. But it's like, we're almost there. It had to happen, right? It's a bit of a scare. Like, I'll be honest, I was terrified.
Dude, that fucking sucks, man, because AJ, I've never rolled less than 50 clones in the car. It's always trays, like hundreds. Like it's always hundreds.
It's like, and I'll say this, it's like, had it been a few hours earlier, there might have been 300, plants in that car.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Like and I'll tell you what, dude, I got away with. Makes me think like, man, I've been getting away with doing this for a little while now. You know, every spring rush, right? People know who to come to get some clones, and I never saw it as a big deal because I only knew legal cannabis. I wasn't a part. You know, cannabis became legal here in 2017. I didn't start growing until 2019, so it's always been just legal. And you know, you don't speed, you don't do drive stupid, they're not gonna pull you over. Well, cops pull you over anyway sometimes for no reason.
Yep. That's the luck of the draw, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Dude, let's keep in touch, please. Shoot me a DM. Let's get you booked on that call. Let's get whatever else figured out that we got to get figured out together, and you know, book a time to fucking get this story and continue on the journey with you, man. So I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Your SOPs, man. They really, you know, just the few things that I was able to, you know, I was pretty much doing close to what you were written out, but like those little things really changed, you know, make that much of a difference, dude. And like, yeah, so, you know, anybody who's in here who doesn't have those, go get them. Go freaking get them. It's the cost of 2 bottles of Microbial Mass Pro.
Less than the cost of a light. If you move them, you make your money back on your first tray. Like however you slice it and dice it in the first tray or two, you got your money back. Your ROI is infinite from there.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like, you know, it's what I needed because I needed some reassurance on like even dunking the clones, man. Like the tray of clones, you do it in a 27-gallon tote. Like I was doing that too, but like maybe this isn't the way. Maybe there's a different way, and I'm doing it right. And it's just like, oh, he does it great. That's out of mind now. Confidence is up, and you just, yeah, man.
I love hearing that, AJ, because honestly, that was the true like goal and intention was like for people to get that confidence to take on the opportunities to really produce nurseries at scale and like be the nursery guy, be the plant guy in their region. Like when you know you have it, God, what a good feeling, man. So that's really like the goal of the SOPs and what I'm trying to, you know, share with people, really, you know, like share that with people. So to hear that, AJ, dude, it's music to my ears, dude. I appreciate that, you know, so much, man. And it's not over yet. The journey's still going. We're going to stay in touch, man, and just keep crushing it.
Thanks, man. You have a good one. I appreciate your time.
Later, man. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Awesome. I think this call-in feature of Clone Questions Live is coming more of a favorite in my eyes. I like it. That's like a taste of what the coaching calls are like. The coaching call is included with the Best Clones Ever SOP from clonecoach.com. Comes with a free 30-minute coaching call in that package to really guarantee we're addressing everything to get you the results that are promised. The best clones ever in 14 days. So that's a little taste of it. That's how, you know, similar they could go. We're talking about your unique situation specifics here, ensuring you're not breezing over things and picking and choosing from the SOP and not taking it in as a whole. If there's other variables that you're not following, 9 times out of 10, there's usually like, well, I'm not getting the result. Well, let's really put everything into play, and boom, we eliminate those problems. I promise you we'll eliminate all nursery problems in your garden. So check out clonecoach.com. That was a fantastic conversation with AJ at Get Farmed, member of the Clone Coach team. You heard it, his testimonial, quick testimonial, how he praised and liked the results he got using the Clone Coach SOPs from clonecoach.com. Cannabis Culture 519 says, send me the SOP link, please. It's easy, y'all. What do you think it might be? Link in my bio? Yep. Clonecoach.com. Clonecoach.com. It's pretty easy. From there, get direct access to the digital guides. You get multiple coaching videos a coaching call, multiple training documents, PDFs, resources page, so much value. And as more value becomes available, because I'm going to continue to create, bundle more and more value and solving more problems, providing more solutions, it's going to get bundled into that package. And all previous buyers will still get access to any future additions to the SOP. So if you haven't done it, join today, clonecoach.com. Cannabis Culture, I look forward to you joining the team. Everybody else, I appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next week on Clone Questions Live. Have a good night.